Yes, hello, and welcome to Release the Creative, your favorite show about cognition, creativity, and this week, communication on the interwebs.
You can do that with the internet these days?
Communicate? Yeah, it's amazing. It's amazing. A lot of people don't know that the internet was designed so that military officials could get porn in time of war.
Oh, that's I remember, you're familiar, of course, with the 48-hour film festival.
Correct, yes.
We've done it a couple of times.
Yeah.
I remember years and years ago, it's probably the first year that I participated, and we went to the showing of all the other films, and I specifically remember one of the films was in the comedy category.
Okay.
And the setup was supposed to be something like a bad or a stupid business idea, or like and then the whole, it was kind of like The Office. It was like a documentary,
Sure.
But it was like these guys had this terrible idea, and they had started a business where you could go on the internet and order a pizza. And you go on the internet and you order the pizza and they bring the pizza to you. And like the point of the movie wasn't this a stupid idea?
I haven't ordered a pizza not on the internet in, holy crap, years.
Yeah, I remember it was a comedy and then people were laughing like, oh, why wouldn't you just pick up the phone? And like, that was the point of the comedy.
I actually remember in The Net, Sandra Bullock's breakout role. I'm sure she was in things before that, but most people our age first saw Sandra Bullock in The Net.
In Sleep. Yeah, no, okay, never mind.
That would be Meg Ryan. They look nothing alike.
No, While You Were Sleeping is what I was
Oh,
gonna
While
say.
You Were Sleeping. Oh,
Yeah.
no, that's true. That was her kind of rom-com debut.
That was the first movie I saw, but go ahead, talk about The Net, sure.
Can we talk about how sad it is that was your, whatever. I remember, and the whole premise is that she lives in Northern California, but her work is in Southern California. Wait, flip that. She's in Southern California and her work is Silicon Valley and in the Northern California. And so she doesn't know any of them. So when they wipe her off the face of the earth, no one she works with has ever seen her.
Oh, it's like The Departed.
Yeah. Yeah, more or less. But at the very beginning, it shows her ordering a pizza on the internet, and like she was putting, stuff on it and ordering it. And I remember thinking, like, looking at my dad, I was like 12 or 13. I was like, is that possible? He's like, it will be. And I'm like, because at that point, I don't think it was, but I think
and I think the film I was talking about came after that. So apparently they never saw The Net.
Yeah, because I really think they were doing it intentionally to be forward thinking.
Yeah,
to
just show that look how weird this is. Yeah.
But it's amazing. The internet is fascinating. It has changed our culture irrevocably. Most of our listeners have heard of Gary Vee. If you haven't, I don't know how. Gary Vee is an entrepreneurial phenom, just loudmouth, New Jersey, very, I love him. He's very in your face. And everyone usually has found him through his book, Crush It. I didn't. I found him through his book called The Thank You Generation, or The Thank You Economy. And he talked really interestingly about how, it used to be in the days of the general store, there's two butchers in town, and you walked in and you asked for something and the pork chop came back bad. That butcher wanted you to be happy. He wanted you to come back because there was two butchers in town, and
him or the other guy.
It's him or the other guy, and if he pissed you off enough, and so these small towns, they delighted and relied on the milkman was always early, Timmy was always on time, because everything was about making the system and the society work. Then the .com blow up of the late 90s happened, and all of a sudden, I don't need your business. I don't.
There's more.
It's 1997. Karen calls me up and says, I ordered an extra large and you sent me an extra small. And I'd be like, suck it. I don't need your business.
Someone else will show up right behind you.
There's 1,000 other people. And for several years, that was true, from like 96 to like 2006. But by 2006, we'd hit this equilibrium of now we're communicating, and now every store has an online, and now we have Yelp, and now we have reviews. And so now that Karen can go on and make life very uncomfortable for me.
Yeah, well, you said 2006. I specifically remember, so 2007 was the first iPhone reveal, and one of the demos they did, besides like the phone call and the text message, they brought up a map and searched for Starbucks. Yeah. And it showed like 13 Starbuckses in San Francisco. Yep, and Steve Jobs called one of them. And he was kind of trying to show that it was easy to call one of them this way. But it really nailed the point at that point that like, wow, I can go anywhere. And like, you can always do it on the internet, but now it's in your hand. You can decide in real time which store has the best review. And that sent that review system into overdrive.
No, and I remember I just saw a short film. Actually, it was on TikTok. I just saw a short joke that reminded me of the 90s. They're like, hey, we got to get going. Did you print out the directions from MapQuest? He's like, I did. Because like, printing from MapQuest was a cultural thing for like 5 years.
Yeah.
Like, just go print it off MapQuest. You'll have the directions.
If you were super prepared, you'd highlight it before you got in the car.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And now that's not a thing anymore. Now you can, in the middle of your directions, tell the directions to make a stop at the closest Starbucks, and it'll do it. What that has done, though, is it has made it so that now those Starbucks versus the Pete's Coffee versus the Jamba Juice, their metric, their thank you, their butcher shop in the 1950s, we're back to that. But for a decade, we had zero customer service. You didn't need it. I mean, a lot of companies had it, but hey, the internet's a big place. There's 7 billion other customers out there. But now we've reached this that now one unhappy Karen with some internet savvy knows how to do some actual damage.
Yeah, I don't remember the exact years. It was around when my daughter was young. So let's say late 2000s, 2010 or so. That's when my wife and I got really big into Twitter.
Right.
And we were early on. I remember like the first thing that made me realize like, oh, I understand what Twitter is for is that LeVar Burton started responding to people. He was like at an airport and people were like, I loved you on Star Trek. And he was like, answering questions about Star Trek while he was waiting for an airplane. And that was
it's a public platform. Yeah.
Now that's very normal, but like that was one of the first times it was like, oh, someone will respond to you. And then that started happening with companies too. I remember we had, and now they have whole teams devoted to it, but early on, we had some incredible success with tweeting at companies with like airlines and stuff where like they won't move our flight, American Airlines or, Delta or whatever. And we would get like a phone call back. Like these days it's a little more automated, but it was really cool.
I will tell you Twitter specifically, not so much Facebook, not so much any of them, but in the last 3 years, Corey and I on our previous show, Kirk and Corey, we tweeted at, well, one was personal, but the other two were business related, where we tweeted at companies, Hobby Lobby, not Hobby Lobby. We were happy with Hobby Lobby. Michaels. We tweeted at Michaels. We tweeted at Spirit Airways, and we tweeted at me, USAA. And all three of them, I got calls from the CEO's office. Not the CEO, but like, hi, I'm
C-suite.
The C-suite called, and they were like, what happened? And I got all three of them like radically fixed because, I mean, I'm just a dude, and I got access to the corporate because my tweet had gotten elevated. Twitter is still an amazing platform for that, to anyone who cares, to businesses that care. But it's interesting. Like, you were super in on Twitter from the very beginning, and I didn't get it. I splashed around in the shallow end. Steven Weber tweeted at me once. It was pretty cool. For those of you who don't know who Steven Weber is, he was the irresponsible Brian on, or was it Joe? No, Joe was responsible. Joe was Tim Daly. Brian was on Wings, the USA show of the 90s. And then he was the CEO corporate bad guy in Studio 60 on the Sunset Strip. And I want to say he's been in other things, but that's pretty much all I know him from. Oh, he was in Single White Female. He's the one who took the stiletto to the eye. Spoilers. But yeah. His Twitter is terrifying.
I can imagine. I don't know that one.
He's just, the things he says are just so insanely off the wall. And I tweeted at him once, I was like, at Steven Weber, I've watched you for years. I loved you on Wings and on Studio 60, but following you on Twitter, I've got a little bit of a man crush on you. And he responded with, at Kirk, just let go, baby, just let go. And I was like, I deserve, like, yeah, I'm in. This is awesome. But my point in all of that is that, which like Gary Vee talks of the thank you economy, how we've gone to now, if I treat my virtual assistant in the Philippines poorly, like it used to be that was sacrificial. That was, well, whatever. The world is one place again. Like, you can have an employee that you've never met, just like the net in 1994. But in 1994, that was
science fiction.
Like it was reachable, but like no one did it. We now, because of COVID, we have whole departments that are remote. We have whole companies that are going remote that are doing away with their high priced real estate. There are 13,000. This number's probably out of date. There are 13,000 vacant apartments in New York City right now, in Manhattan, because who would pay to live in Manhattan if you didn't need to. And so the way that we are communicating on the internet, which has always been a communications protocol for, as I said, military leaders to get porn during the times of war, it's the game is changing. Or it has changed the game to where we are currently.
Back to that. Well, we will talk about that a little bit more in just 1 minute. We're going to take a quick break.
Hey, Jeff and I wanted to take a minute just here at the top of the show to say thank you for joining us on our new podcast and YouTube show, Release the Creative. Whether you're new to our brand of crazy or you followed us over from one of our other social media platforms, LinkedIn, Twitch, Facebook, or Twitter, we'd like to thank you for joining us here. Please take this moment to hit the subscribe and the like button and also that funny little notification button so that you can be notified of all our new episodes. We're really trying to get this new show up on the road. Thank you so much for watching.
And we're back. We are talking about the internet on the internet, which is allowed, I guess.
Yeah, no, a little meta.
I was reading actually this morning that I missed this over the summer. Twitter earlier in the summer has been experimenting with audio tweets where you put a sound file online. And what's happened this week is they're expanding that to direct messages.
Okay.
So we have gone from, first we had phone calls, then cell phones had text messages pasted on top of that.
Okay.
Then Twitter put themselves on top of the text message platform.
Sure.
It started as texts, and then they moved to the internet and expanded their features, and you could do photos.
Oh, that's right. Twitter was originally just straight text app. It wasn't internet.
It was an app that used text. That's why there was the limit, is it was based on the texting limit of regular SMS messages.
I didn't realize. Okay.
And then they expanded. Now they're on the internet. Now they're putting audio clips in their tweets, I guess, which is back to using your phone kind of like a phone.
Right. No, it's so crazy. Like, same thing. I'm pretty big on LinkedIn. I'm on LinkedIn every day, most days. And, you know, they've always had an in-app protocol of being able to text back and forth. But just somewhat recently, in the last year or so, you can now do that. You can send someone an audio DM, which means I now, if someone's like, hey, give me a call and gives me their phone number, it's back to voicemail. We picketed voicemail. We came up with visual voicemail and transcriptions. It's like people are innovating in opposite directions. So
I appreciate a voicemail that doesn't ring your phone first. That is a big improvement.
Yeah. Like it's, phone then went to voicemails. Now we'll transcribe the voicemail. So
voicemails are emails now because when I get one, I read it. Right.
And you and I produce videos, and we know that the click rate if you've transcribed it so that people can read it, that there's this huge, like massive uptick in viewership and engagement if you've transcribed it because people like to be able to read it. But at the exact same time, LinkedIn, it's so common now, so common that I will send someone a meeting like, hey, I love to talk to blah, 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 blah. And then I get back a voice clip, 59 seconds, and I'll play it. And they're like, hey, Kirk, thank you so much. Yeah, no, that was great. And I was like, had you written that out, it wouldn't have been so hard. You would have. Yeah,
it's been over a year, maybe 2 or 3 years since my iPhone has had that feature. Yeah. And I never use it. To me, it's a way for me to get interesting pocket dials from people.
Right.
But that's
funny. Okay.
My mom loves voice to text. She uses Siri to text.
Me too.
But to text, she never sends an audio clip.
Right. And so all the time, I'll get a text message now, and it'll be like, not even on LinkedIn, bing, bing, and someone will have sent me a video, and I'm like, dude, I don't want to sit and no, I don't want it. I don't want it.
As a video producer, I hear internet people saying all the time, video's the most, high engagement, important.
It so is.
Yes, awesome. I'm also hyper aware of all the times when I don't want to see video, and kind of quick communications is one of those times.
And what's crazy is that I want to know which side of this issue I'm on. For Charlie Chaplin said that sound was just a fad and that we were going to go back to silent pictures because that's where the art was. And he was obviously very wrong. When shaky cam became a thing in the early 2000s, Bourne movies.
Bourne movies, yeah.
I remember I was in film school when the Bourne movies came out. I was livid. I was like, I don't want to spend $13 to go watch an episode of Cops shot on film. This is terrible. And I was like, when are they going to realize that this is not professional, this is not art? And I was wrong.
They've pulled back. But it's still a thing, yeah.
But cinema verite and fluid motion gimbals now, it's not as shaky as it was, but if you watch old movies, you can see the fluidity of
Here comes the crane, yeah.
the jib or the tracks. Now it's very obviously gimbaled or on a drone because it just has a fluidity to it.
There's even, I mean, you're stuck in the era you grew up in, a lot of us, and to you and me, the robotic crane is like, oh, this is beautiful movie making,
sexy cinema.
But if I watch older movies from the 40s, they have cranes, but it's very clearly the guy in the chair, like tilting the camera, like it's sort of a handheld.
Interesting.
Like they do the dance number and the camera rises up, and like you can feel like the guy's tilting the camera down, and like it feels handheld as opposed to now where it's like a robotic crane. So even like from era to era, the things just keep changing. Right.
Now, but there's things that have changed, but there's also things that have interestingly very much stayed the same. And this is where I think the real crux of this week's episode is that the cream has 100% always risen to the top. There have obviously been things that like, oh, and this happened, or there was this one person that was the outlier, but for the most part, like, YouTube started off with the founders walking around at the zoo. It was just a total garbage little video. It was fine. But now there are lots of people making their entire living on YouTube. Like it is, and it's not just silly, goofy zoo videos.
Yeah, you can see anything. Yeah.
It's like, I watch TV on YouTube with my kids, and I don't have YouTube Red. I'm watching homemade content at a professional
I watch a lot of
level.
20, 25-minute YouTube videos every night. It's replaced television for me in a lot of ways. And it's not bloggers in their bedroom. Like you said, they're like TV shows.
No, like I watch a couple of Simon Whistler on his 10 historical facts. Some of them are really good. Some of them, but his are remarkably well produced. It's not just him in his bedroom. Not that there's anything wrong with the Philip DeFrancos and those that made those really good. But the cream always rises. Every new thing, there's shaky cam and then there's shaky cam. Now, I will say that Bourne was the bad kind. Nothing can convince me that movie wasn't just punted. Just no. But the shaky cam that rose is not the Bourne. It's this alive shaky camera. Same thing we take TikTok. TikTok literally started off as Musical.ly and before that sort of Vine. And it really was just shaky, goofy, garbage stuff. But the stuff that's going massively viral is the stuff that not necessarily has higher production quality, but has better thought to it.
It's very creative stuff.
Has better framing, has a little bit better light. So much so that, like we talked a few weeks ago, when you start to do well, TikTok sends you a ring light as a way of saying, let's bump this up. Yeah. Like, and why that matters is whether it's my brain just stopped. Whether it's these audio tweets or LinkedIn or your Zoom meeting or your YouTube or whatever, I'm seeing more and more people saying, oh, well, this is just the new normal, whatever. I'm going to sit in front of my bathroom, my kitchen window, big bright lights, camera looking up my nose. And I'm like, stop it. Like, I understand that we're entering this new post-COVID atmosphere where it doesn't matter. It's different. But dress for the job you want. Like, looking good, whether it was YouTube 20 years ago or TikTok right now or AOL stuff, like, the cream has always risen to the top. And there's been that 10 years of the Gary Vee thing where there was 10 years of screw it, who cares? But the cream rose, and those that stayed and kept they're the ones who survived the .bomb because they didn't say F you to the customer. Right now, we're in that era that it doesn't matter. Right now, we really are the whatever. If you're sitting in your bathrobe, people get it. But don't be the person sitting in your bathrobe. It doesn't matter that they get it. Like, be better than that. Yeah. Like, we have an option now to give a damn. We should give a damn. And don't use video unnecessarily. Zoom's important. Right.
All right, we're going to take one more quick break. We'll be right back. And we are back. So, to recap the history of the world in 10 seconds.
Sure.
Originally, if you were providing a service or a business of some sort, you had to care about your customers because if not, they'd go across the street.
Or to the next town, or
They had options, and it was a personal relationship. And then the internet came, and it was like, screw you, I got another customer right behind you. If you don't want it, someone else will.
10,000 orders a day, I don't have time to care about you.
And just kind of whatever. And now we're back to social media has brought
Cancel culture.
Cancel culture, which people mean it in some way, but it on a smaller scale applies to your business too.
Absolutely.
And so you're more accountable again, which is both scary but also an awesome opportunity.
It's awesome opportunity. No, absolutely. I mean, if you really think back to the good old, farm and general store, yeah, there might only be one general store in town, but there was another town down the road, and you could always order things in. And you had a Sears Roebuck catalog. Sears literally invented the catalog for this reason. There were options, so customer service mattered, like you said. And then we got away from that because all of a sudden I opened up a Diapers R Us online. I'm getting 10,000 orders a day. You don't like your diapers? I'm sorry, ma'am. Like, I don't care. Go spend more at Target because they're cheap. But now, like you said, we've come full circle. We are back to, but it's better than full circle because in that small town, we can take this on everything from niche needs to social lifestyles and choices and identities. It used to be that if you lived in a small town, you were one of, I don't know, 2 to 10 homosexuals that may or may not be in some degree out. If you were a person of color, your community was limited to your community. But as the world has gotten bigger, now your community, like I am a member of a community that I met online where I have probably a dozen actual friends that I talk to every day now. And I know who they are. I know about their kids. I know about their lives. I have met none of them. And this isn't like back in the day of online chat rooms. I video chat with them. I know about them. Mm-hmm. I'm friends with them because we share some stuff that is way beneath top level that brought us together. It used to be slot car racing, or trains, or pick your interest. The world of online has not only made it that butcher shop customer service matters again, but now your community has a place where it used to be you were the only one you knew, but now the world's the oyster.
So yeah, broadly, that's what the internet is now. But people still don't like ads.
Correct.
Though. So like if you are this butcher and you're on the internet and if you just come on every day and you're like $3.99 for pork chop, you're just dismissed as an ad.
Correct.
So it's great that personally we can all make friends in our personal life, but when you take your work to the internet, how do you not be a shill, basically?
Well, first off, stop being afraid of being a shill. But no, so this information is 10 years old, so I feel bad saying it is like, listen to us. This is not new information. I think most of our listeners will know this already. But so Gary Vee was the first online liquor store. And you're like, that's weird. His father owned a Total Wine. It was a wine store, a big wine store. And so what Gary Vee did is started winelibrary.com and he didn't sell anything. He just went on and talked about wines and pairings. Like he was just like, that's it. Like he just talked about, he didn't sell wine. I mean, there were links and stuff, and then on Twitter, he answered, it was from like 2008 to 2016. That's not the right years, but it's some remarkable, he answered every single tweet, troll, another. He answered everything.
Yeah.
Not sales. That's the trick, is that you're right. If you come on and say, buy now, come on down, nobody cares. They know you want their money. But Gary Vee came on and said, let's talk wine. And he would go into wine forums where people are like, oh, I'm having a Thanksgiving and I'm serving a this and that. I don't know what wine. And he'd come in and say, I found this one. And he wouldn't say, I'll give you a coupon. He didn't lead with who he was. He didn't end with who he was. He just gave them the information. He just gave it to them. You're like, but there's no call to action there. He lost an opportunity. No, he didn't, because he built up this equity of, I'm your butcher. I care about what you're drinking.
Yeah, the key phrase there is subject matter expert.
Right.
If you can be one, then people trust you.
So if you're the butcher, and so I've been talking to a lot of people, you need to get on TikTok and you need to get on LinkedIn. And they're like, that's an odd dichotomy. TikTok and LinkedIn? I was like, yes. And I'm on both. And I'm very active on both. And on LinkedIn, I'm very, very active. On LinkedIn, I'm very active on my subject matter expertise, things like this, my ability to know and navigate through difficult business situations. On TikTok, I use much of the same general information, but I do it in a goofy, personable, joking, and remarkably self-deprecating manner. Not because I'm trying to get you, but because that's still me. Like, but on LinkedIn, I would never go on and do a stupid dance. It's just not. It's not what they. Even though I have some people that I'm friends with.
It's not the right channel.
It's not the right channel, and I'm friends with people on LinkedIn and on TikTok. So you're like, well, if your audience is in both places, why don't you just do the same thing both places? And that comes up to fluencies. Speaking TikTok on LinkedIn or LinkedIn on TikTok, there's going to be some crossover, but more or less you're actually going to alienate your audience. People don't want to be preached business to on TikTok, and they don't want to see you shake your butt on LinkedIn. It's not that those people don't want to see that. It's just they have categorized and siloed their attention to a mindset. So you need to keep what you are shooting towards a mindset where people are prepared to receive that. So TikTok and LinkedIn, I think, far more than Facebook and Instagram, that in my opinion are flatlining, and Snapchat's dead, and Vine is actually dead. LinkedIn and TikTok are both skyrocketing right now, and there are no better platforms, in my opinion, that allow you to demonstrate your humility and I'm just a person, and your knowledge and your I can be your resource. And if someone, and you're going to gather different segments of the same audience, because again, it's this huge thing and there's a niche everywhere. And if you can find different slivers of your niche, it's different veins of that niche. TikTok and LinkedIn right now. It changes all the time, but like right now.
Offer void in 2021.
Yeah. This message will self-destruct.
Yeah, it's all timely. But yeah, for right now, I've been watching you get great success there.
Yeah. So, I mean, it's doing really well. And what sucks about working in this industry, I mean, I love it, is that like I'll spend an hour on TikTok and I'm like, man, I'm wasting so much time, but I'm not though. Like I'm talking to people, I'm sharing things. It's like, this is work. I got a client this week off TikTok. Like they saw one of my TikToks, called me up, and now I'm helping them. I'm helping them write a communications piece. And I'm like, 100% off TikTok. That they'd never heard of me before. They bought my book based on me talking about it on TikTok. And again, I did not go on and sell my book on TikTok. I went on and talked about what a pain in the ass it was to write and how it led me to like borderline alcoholism and like depression. And they were like, oh, I want to read that. I'm like,
That's a good pitch.
Thanks. Like my book, which basically made me want to kill myself. I want to read that. Like, I think my words to my editor was, I understand Ernest Hemingway so much more now.
Just put that on the cover of your book.
Like, oh my gosh, Ernest Hemingway, I got you, bro. But yeah, that's the trick, is be the butcher by letting everyone know that you're a person, because they see your kids playing in the street of this 1950s Norman Rockwell village we're painting. You're a person. You're just like them. You make mistakes, and TikTok is great for that. But you're also a professional and an expert on cuts of meat, etc., and that you show on LinkedIn. And if you can build an ecosystem of your resume of, look, this is me as a person. Yes, I dance around and I do silly things. I have a risky business fetish of dancing around, singing, in my underwear too, but then I can still button up and buckle down. The cream will rise to the top 100% of the time, and people like to be in business with people they know and that they can communicate with. And all back to this Twitter thing. They're letting audio DMs now. Will I use those? Probably not. It weirds me out. But that means it's not my tool for my audience, because it's not. If it's someone else's tool and they're using it to me, they've just proven that I'm not their audience, because I'm not going to listen to it. But if the same person threw a TikTok up, I would. If they tagged me in it, I'd watch it. They'd get my attention. Your niche is somewhere. Their channel is somewhere. Figuring out the fluency of your niche and your channel and the tools, which are infinite these days, that's the trick.
So the lesson this week is be a butcher on the internet and sell pizzas and put it all on TikTok.
If that's what you want to be the takeaway, that can be the takeaway.
Write it down. I'm calling it. That's it.
If you want to be a butcher on the internet, feels a little bit predatory, but like
that's going to be slang next year. I don't know what it's going to mean, but it's going to be something.
Modern Cockney. Anyway, yeah. So that's it.
So
be a butcher on the internet, sell pizza.
Absolutely. We will be back next week. I'm going to order a pizza this weekend, I think.
I can't eat pizza right now.
Yeah, that sucks to be you.
Yeah, it does.
We will see you next week. This was Release the Creative.
Thanks for joining us here at Release the Creative. Kirk here would never say it to your face, but he thinks you should like and subscribe to us on YouTube.
And Jeff is far too shy to admit it, but he thinks you should subscribe to us on your favorite podcast reader.
Yeah? Well, you're the one who's always saying that everyone should give us 5 stars on Apple Podcasts.
Why do you have to make everything so difficult?